A bit different. President Trump planning 14 rallies for his final blitz, while Joe Biden so far only really focusing on 2 states. So will Trump's enthusiasm lead to another victory? Here to debate, USA Strong Executive Director Erin Elmore and Democratic strategist Robert Patillo. Thanks to the both of you for joining us here on a Sunday. Let's look at some maps, shall we? Starting with the President Trump map. 14 rallies, 72 hours. You see a lot of places. 5 in Pennsylvania, 4 Michigan, 2 North Carolina, Iowa, Georgia, Florida, Wisconsin mixed in. Now, let's take a look at Joe Biden's. 2 in Michigan, 1 in Pennsylvania. The Biden camp saying his team's going to fan out across all 4 corners of Pennsylvania. No scheduled events announced as of yet. Robert, first question to you. You call this last-minute Trump push desperate and say it's not going to work. Why?
Well, look, we've already had 85 to 90 million people who have voted already. So this idea that you're going to have this last-minute gigantic swing in the election, I think that's a 1980s model. That's a Nixonian model from the 1970s, not a 2020 early voting, absentee voting world. Particularly given that we're dealing with coronavirus, we're dealing with the flu season coming in. Many Americans have already voted. In addition to this, Vice President Biden has the advantage of having surrogates, being able to put Kamala Harris in Atlanta today, being able to put Barack Obama in other states. President Trump has not elicited other Republicans who are out there campaigning on his behalf. No former presidents, no former Republican officials. And for that reason, he has to do this last-minute blitz. But I don't think that it's going to be enough to pull him across the finish line, given what the nation's gone through the last 9 months.
Erin, Robert brings up the early voting. We have a new number just in the top of this hour, 91,655,000 and change thousand. I mean, that is intense. That is something that we've never really seen before. But Erin, do you think something different, something special is happening for Trump in this final weekend? And maybe that Iowa where we just saw Garrett Tenney bears that out?
I think the Iowa poll is finally showing the truth in polling, but this is a clear example of enthusiasm and energy on the side of the Trump supporters and President Trump himself, and errors and mediocrity on behalf of Joe Biden. Let's face it, if the Biden campaign thought they had it in the bag, they would just call a lid like they do so frequently. I think the Iowa polls differ from several others for several reasons. You know, most of these polls use irrelevant old methodology. They're calling registered voters not likely voters, and we know the Trump voter is often the first-time person who went to the polls for the first time and proudly voted for Donald Trump. Moreover, Trump supporters are scared. According to the Cato Institute, 77% of conservatives don't want to tell the truth in polls, and they hold views that they are afraid that will cause them to lose their job or be socially ousted. So I think there are several factors that we must look at. We also have to look at Biden himself. While claiming to be a moderate, he plans to be one of the most progressive presidents in history. His name calling now, he's calling people chumps and ugly and labeled black men as super predators. These are things that we have to look at, and the gaffes that just keep on coming that have the internet rolling on the Trump side, at least. And I think that these are the factors that have to be taken into consideration, and Iowa might be the one to have actually done it properly.
We will see. We could do this all day long, but unfortunately, we need to call a lid on this segment. You guys were great. We'll have you back once we know answers, if we know answers anytime this week. Erin and Robert, we appreciate your time. Thanks so much. Jillian.
Thank you.